All right, welcome everyone. This is a class for deep neck and shoulder release. And each pose we will be targeting a different area of the neck and shoulders. It's an all levels hatha class, so feel free to modify or intensify as needed. 2 blocks might be helpful, but won't be necessary. And let's get started. We'll begin in Balasana, child's pose. If it's okay for the joints, bring the knees together and take the variation of Balasana with the arms by the sides. Forehead touches down to the mat or to support, allowing the shoulder blades to protract. And the weight of the shoulders melts down toward the mat. Imagine the space on the forehead that's touching the mat is a gentle pressure point that sends a wave of relaxation throughout all of the facial features. So the temples unwind, the lips become jelly, the jaw unhinges, the muscles surrounding the spine, including up in the neck, just melt and lengthen. And as you're folding in on yourself in child's pose, imagine that each inhalation can create both more physical space internally, and each inhalation can create more space between the thoughts. And with each exhalation, you allow whatever is still there to release out from the space where the forehead is connected to the mat. So inhaling, breathing more space both into the body and in between the thoughts. Exhaling whatever thoughts are left over, whatever tensions or guarding in the body is left over. Take 3 to 5 more cycles of breath just like that. And after your cycles of breath, slowly press yourself up into tabletop. We're going to begin with a puppy dog. So you're going to keep the knees down, hips lifted above the knees, pulling up and back. Walk your fingertips forward. Begin to claw your fingertips into the mat to traction through the arms, through the armpits, through the sides of the waist. Forehead can touch down once again. We will get into a deeper variation into Anahatasana, so just begin here. Warm the body with your deliberate breath, creating more space between the thoughts as you breathe in, releasing anything that's left over as you breathe out. One more cycle of breath as you are. And then press yourself back up to tabletop, threading the needle, keeping the left palm down, right fingertips reach high, open through the chest, catch a breeze back with the right fingertips, and then right fingertips glide all the way through. Wiggle the right shoulder forward before you drop all of your weight down, turning the right shoulder blade as much as possible underneath you and pressing into the left palm to turn your chest open to the left. Swing your outer left hip back and hug it toward the right. And if you have a lot of room, you can extend the left leg out to the left, bind right hand to the left foot, and lie back into this even more. Send your gaze through the window you're creating with your left arm. And breathe into that space you're creating between the right shoulder blade and the spine. Release the bind if you have it. Bring the left knee back in. Press into the left palm. Re-extend the right fingertips to the sky. And right palm down. Keeping the right palm rooted. Left fingertips reach. Catch a breeze back with the left fingertips. And thread the needle. Wiggle the shoulder forward so the spine is long as you twist. Right palm roots down to open your chest to the right. And then scoop your outer right hip back. Hug it toward the left side of the body. Again, if you have a deeper variation, feel free to go there. Maybe extend the right leg out to the right and bind left hand to outer right foot. Pulling the chest back against the bind so you can breathe into the space between the left shoulder blade and spine. Slowly release the bind, bring the right knee back in. Right palm plants down, left fingertips re-extend to the sky. And left palm down. Perching up onto the fingertips, adding on to the puppy dog, making it a little bit stronger. You can always relower the palms if this is too much too soon for the shoulders. You're going to keep the fingertips perched up like your hands are like tense, and then melt the heart down toward the ground as you pull the hips up and back. Maybe the forehead touches down once again, elbows stay lifted the entire time, or maybe heart touches down to the mat. Chin down, gaze is forward, Anahatasana. Three strong breaths in silence. Slowly pick yourself back up. Palms planted. Keep the same lengthened torso forward. You're going to walk all 10 fingertips off to the left side of your mat, so they're to your carpet or your hardwood floor, wherever you're practicing. Right hand is going to stamp the left hand down to give the right side of the waist a little bit more length. Pulling the right hip back, you're going to roll weight into the right side of the body. The right elbow can drop down, but you're keeping the arms pretty straight and strong. So you're creating as big of an arc as you can in the right side of the body. And breathing through that space. From the quadratus lumborum, the obliques, the intercostal muscles, serratus muscles, teres major and minor, triceps, wherever you feel the deepest sensation. In-breath is going to walk you back to center and off to the right. All 10 fingertips off of the mat. Left hand stamps the right hand down. Pull the left hip back. Drop weight into the left side of the body, keeping the arms straight and strong and reaching in the opposite direction of the hips. And send all of your breath into the left side of your body. Three strong breaths in silence. And then walking yourself back through center. You're going to bring the forearms down, shoulder width distance. Here you can use a block between the hands so as to avoid slipping. If needed, we're going to move into a dolphin. So tucking the toes, lifting the knees. The knees can stay really deeply bent. Walk the toes toward the elbows insofar as it feels good. And then keeping the knees bent first just to focus on the lift and the rinse through the shoulder girdle. Drive the elbows down. Stay rooted through the index finger and thumb as well. Reach your heart back toward your toes and maybe begin to straighten the legs. Even as you open the chest here, feel how the backs of the shoulder blades are broad as well. Knees back down, exhaling. Pick the elbows up. Downward facing dog just for a breath to transition. Full body inhalation. And step to the top of the mat, exhale. Bring a soft bend into the knees, first forward fold to protect the lower back. And imagine the head just like a bowling ball weighing down on the rest of the spine to pull gentle traction as you release here. Just as we have been breathing more space into the body and into the mind on the inhalation, get a little bit more specific. Imagine you're breathing space in between the vertebrae in your neck as you inhale. And you allow yourself to drop into that space as you exhale. Releasing the fingertips down. Next in-breath, find a halfway lift. Step the right toes back and take 1/4 turn to the right for a wide-legged forward fold. In-breath is going to lift you halfway up. Interlace the hands behind the back. Base of the hands come to touch. Squeeze the shoulder blades together behind you. Keep the knuckles lifting first up and then over. And if you want to turbocharge it here, bring the elbows toward one another and then try and drive the elbows down toward the ground. Same thing here. The head as a weight dangling from the rest of the spine, pulling gentle traction. Breathe to cultivate more space. In-breath is going to lift you halfway up. Gently release the bind. Pivot back to the top of your mat. Find a soft-kneed forward fold. The first forward fold that we took might be plenty. If you want a little bit more traction for the neck, you're going to interlace the hands behind the nape of the neck. We will not pull with the arms or the hands at all, but allow the passive weight of the arms, drawing the elbows close to one another in front of the face, to be that extra little weight that creates more space between the vertebrae, re-lengthens the spine to its optimal anatomical place. Few breaths here. Feel free to sway from side to side. If you're swaying, come back to stillness, keeping the muscles surrounding the neck completely relaxed. Really slowly release the hands up and over the back of the skull toward the mat. On your next in-breath, lift from the belly rather than from the neck. Find a halfway extension. Exhale, plant the palms, step back, downward facing dog. Float the right leg to the sky as you breathe in. Right foot lightly steps to the top of the mat, breathing out. In-breath carries you up, crescent lunge. Take a couple of breaths to settle into the lower body in your lunge. And then adding on Gomukhasana arms, left hand behind the heart, right hand to the top of the left elbow. Lift the chin away from the chest and glide the ears back in line with the shoulders. So we maintain the natural curves of the spine. If you have more space, right hand behind the back, clasping left fingertips. Settle into the breath. As deep as the sensations might be, also tune in to how wonderful it is to release these muscle groups that might not get a lot of our attention. One more in-breath. Super slow motion release. Exhale. Plant the palms. Downward facing dog. Left leg flows to the sky. Left foot steps forward. Anchor the hips. Crescent lunge. Settle into the lower body. Right hand behind the heart. Left hand to the top of the right elbow. Chin parallel to the earth. Ears vertical to the shoulders. Shoulders vertical to the hips. And maybe full bind. In your clasp, if this feels relatively easy, without allowing the fingers to slip, drag the elbows in opposite directions to deepen. Fill the space you've created with breath, inhaling. Slow motion release, replant the palms, exhale. Float the right leg to the sky, inhale. Right foot to the top of the mat, exhale. Left heel down, warrior one, breathing in. As you exhale, arms out to a T, palms facing forward, left elbow underneath the right, Garudasana arms. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Imagine that someone is pulling your forearms forward so your shoulder blades spread away from one another behind you. Then lift your elbows up, maybe lifting the gaze. Long line through the spine, so extend through the crown of the head. One more in-breath here. As you exhale, reach the elbows forward, as if you're trying to hook them over the right knee, and then down for humble warrior. Let the weight of the arms drop. Let your head hang into the cradle of the arms. Outer right hip rolls back. If the fingertips are touching down, try and bring the elbows down as well to touch. On your next in-breath, lift all the way back up. Re-extend the arms out to a T. And exhale, plant the palms. Downward facing dog. Notice what you notice. Take inventory. Float the left leg to the sky, inhale. Exhale, left foot steps. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, arms to a T, palms facing forward. Broaden as you breathe in. Right arm underneath the left, Garudasana arms, breathing out. Soften the shoulders, lift the elbows, traction the forearms away from the face. Lift the gaze as you extend up through the crown of the head, lengthening through the neck. One more inhalation. Exhale. Reach the elbows forward as if you're trying to hook them over the left knee, and then move into humble warrior. The fingertips more easily touch down, but then rinse through the shoulders by drawing the elbows down toward the ground as well. Allow the head to hang into the cradle of the arms. In-breath is going to lift you all the way back up to warrior one. Re-extending the palms broadly. And exhale, plant the palms to the ground. Downward facing dog. Floating the right leg to the sky as you breathe in. Right foot steps forward as you breathe out. Left heel down, but shorten the stance and broaden the stance for optimal balance. We're moving into Parsvottanasana variation with a bind behind the back. Option A is to clasp the elbows, opposite elbows behind you. Squeezing the shoulder blades toward one another, loop the shoulder heads back. As the forearms are behind the small of the back, hug the lower belly in so the lower back stays full and neutral. Option B, fists come together behind you. Same thing, shoulder heads move back. Option C, reverse namaskar. Base of the thumbs touch so there's even distribution of pressure through the wrists. Loop the shoulder heads back, lift the heart, breathing in. With whichever variation you have, maintain it as you fold forward. Soft right knee, heart lengthening toward the toes. Then tuck the chin in toward the chest, long neck, gaze to the back of the mat. With whichever variation you have, continue to wing the elbows back. One more cycle. On your next in-breath, lift halfway up. Release your bind. Plant the palms. Slowly step back, downward facing dog. Give your joints plenty of time to adjust. Left leg to the sky, breathing in. Left foot steps forward, breathing out. Right heel down, shorten and broaden the stance. Lift all the way up. Take whichever hand variation is most appropriate. Maybe your shoulders have already started to open and you have a deeper form for this second side. Lift the heart, breathing in. Fold forward, breathing out. Soft joints. Spacious breath. On your next in-breath, lift halfway up. Slow release of the bind. And step it back, downward facing dog. Lifting the hips really high, breathing in, send your gaze forward, step to the top of the mat, forward fold. In-breath lifts you halfway up, lengthen. Exhalation bows you back down. Root down, rise all the way up, reverse swan dive. Interlace the hands above the head, then press the palms to the sky. See if you can flip the index side of the hand as high as the pinky side of the hand, and turn the pinky side of the hand down. Biceps hugging the ears. Zip up through the inseams of the legs. So we stay long through the core, long through the spine. Send both hips to the left. Press the palms to the right. Try and press the wall or the window, whatever is to your right, away from you. Rolling your left ribcage open, send your gaze to the sky, underneath the left arm for 3, 2, and 1. In-breath brings us back to center. Lengthen even more than you were before. Exhale, both hips to the right. Turn the gaze up underneath the right arm. Press whatever is to your left away from you. For 3, 2, and 1. In-breath brings us all the way back up. Exhale, release the hands. Once again, in-breath swims us up. Right arm is going to pass in front of the left arm. Pivot the palms forward, then back together to touch. Loop the shoulders back so the biceps are hugging the ears, triceps are in line with the ears. Zip up, reach through the fingertips. Send all 10 fingertips to the right, hips to the left. Give yourself an assist. Pull your left hand with your right hand ever so slightly and gently. For 3, strong legs, strong core. 2, 1. Use the strength of your core to lift back up, and exhale, release the arms down by your sides. In-breath swims us up, reaching tall. Left hand crosses over the right. This time, pivot the palms. Press the palms together firmly until you feel that right amount of sensation. And then hips to the right, fingertips to the left. Give yourself an assist. Left hand gently pulls the right hand even farther over. And draw the breath down into the basin of the belly. In-breath brings you all the way back up. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhalation lengthens us halfway up. Exhale, step the left foot back. Warrior 2 as you breathe in. Settling into the hips. You can bring your left hand to your left hip if you'd like, or keep it extended out long. You're going to turn your right palm to face the right side of your mat. Your thumb is facing down. Reach to the right fingertips a little bit more, and then let your left ear settle toward your left shoulder. You can keep on turning your palm up toward the sky if that feels good. So the cervical nerves that extend from the spaces between the vertebrae and the neck join around the shoulder and move all the way down through the hand. So just find that place where you feel those lines of sensation that feel most beneficial. On your next in-breath, turn your palm back down, bring your neck to neutral, and exhale, windmill the palms down. Step it back, downward facing dog. Left foot steps forward, right heel down, open all the way up, warrior 2. Turn your left palm to face the left side of your mat, thumb facing down. Right hand can come to the right hip, or you can keep the arm extended, your choice. And soften the right ear toward the right shoulder as you reach the left fingertips farther forward. If there's any tingling, that might just be stretching a nerve, which isn't inherently unsafe. But just back out of the pose until the tingling stops. You can move into and out of the pose. If when you exit this pose, the tingling does not cease immediately, then just skip this variation. Couple more cycles of breath. And bring your neck back to neutral, palm to neutral, warrior 2. Breathing in here. Exhale, windmill the palms down. 3 cycles of breath in downward facing dog. On your next in-breath, bring yourself forward, high plank. Exhale, lower all the way to your belly. You're going to perch up onto your fingertips, move your fingertips off of the mat, but in line with your shoulders. So they're just placed broadly. Keeping the tenting of your hands, elbows winging up toward the sky, roll the shoulders back and down away from the ears, and lift up into a cobra from here. So lots of oppositional directions in the body, shoulders back and down, elbows up, soften the right ear toward the right shoulder, reach the left elbow even farther to the left. One more really good breath. Bring your neck back to neutral and to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder, wing the right elbow farther to the right. And lift the neck back to neutral and lower all the way back down. Ardha Bakasana, half frog. Bring your left elbow beneath the left shoulder. Hug the right heel in. Take a big windmill with the right hand to catch a hold of the instep of the right foot. As you hug the heel in, give a kick back into the hand. This might be plenty for the chest, but if you want to get deeper into the pectoral muscles down through the biceps and into the neck, up into the neck, then kick into the hand, let the arm extend out long, and then pull the sternum forward, and then if you have more room, left ear toward the left shoulder. Turning your elbow down toward the mat will accentuate the external rotation even more. And slow motion release. Switch sides. Right elbow underneath the right shoulder. Big windmill of your left hand for the instep of the left foot. Hug the heel in, giving a little bit of pressure back into the hand. That might be plenty, or perhaps you want to get a little bit more lengthening in the lower body to match all of the work we've been doing in the upper body. Or to dive in deeper into the bicep, pectoral muscles, all the way up through the neck. Kick into the hand, let the arm lengthen, and relax the right ear toward the right shoulder. One more breath here. And slowly release. Bring yourself back down to your belly. Press up and back into child's pose once again. Just let the lower back release into a neutral space. Replanting the palms, pressing back up. We're going to take Setu Bandha Sarvangasana bridge pose. So if you'd like to use your blocks at this point for a restorative bridge, grab a hold of your blocks and then roll all the way onto your backs. Soles of the feet to the ground. Feet are hip width distance. Slide the blocks beneath the sacrum at a height that feels good. And if you are using the blocks, you can still try and interlace the fingertips behind the blocks or grab a hold of the fronts of your ankles and then lift the heart in the opposite direction for optimal traction. Even though the chest is chasing the chin, lift the chin away from the chest ever so slightly so you maintain the curve at the back of the neck. Gently root down through the back of the skull without engaging the jaw or the muscles of the throat, but ever so slightly toning the cervical extensors in the back of the neck. For 3, 2, and 1. Release the bind that you have. Keep the hips lifted. You're going to grab a hold of opposite elbows above the head and draw the arms alongside the ears. If you need a little bit more depth, revisit that same arm variation with the palms crossed and then coming back together to touch, reaching the fingertips back, pressing the palms together really firmly. So it's as active or passive as you choose to make it. Switch the clasp, other forearm in front or other palm in front. Reach through the fingertips, press through the palms. And slowly send the arms down by the sides. Drive the backs of the arms into the mat, float the hips up, slide the blocks to your side, and roll the spine out longer than it was before. Hug the knees in toward the chest, and rock forward and back or to the side. Bring yourself up to a seated posture. We're going to end in Shavasana with blocks or a rolled up blanket, whatever you have available at home, underneath the spine. So starting at the upper thoracic spine, the block is going to be to the space between your shoulder blades at a height that feels good. The lowest height or the highest height might even be accessible. The second block is going to be even height to or lower than the first block. So undoing text neck, bringing the curve back into the neck. Arms out to a T, palms facing up. Legs, however, feels good. The soles of the feet can be together. I personally love one ankle crossed in front of the other. And then switching about halfway through. Let the shoulder blades drape over whatever is supporting the spine. Eyes closed. And after deliberately creating more space between your thoughts, more space in your inner body, as you release your deliberate breath, just notice how there's more room for your mind to wander within your direct and immediate experience. The mind is more able to settle into the body. The breath is more able to settle into the body. And stay in stillness for as long as you have. At least 5 minutes is optimal. And use your breath to wake both the body and the mind back up as you transition out of your Shavasana eventually. Use your breath to scoop up all of the positive affects, all of the benefits of your practice, so you can seal them within you and carry them with you throughout the rest of your day. And thank you so much for taking this time for your practice, for joining me. Namaste.